A very beautiful weekend, lovely souls, beautiful empaths, each and everyone watching me. This is Desmos, and I welcome you to the channel of truth, enlightenment, freedom, and the channel of breaking empaths free. Now, the ones that are just coming in and it's your first time finding my page, I invite you to like the page, share, and subscribe. For those that have been with me, I welcome you back, and I thank you for your continued love and support. Now, I'm in the park, so there's going to be birds everywhere singing. I think you already hear them now. There may be dogs walking around. There may be people all over the place. And I hope we don't get interrupted. But if that so happens, then I apologize in advance. Briefly, today I'm going to talk about how the narcissist actually uses your past against you. Now, for the ones who have left these individuals, I really congratulate you all, because I know where you've been. For the ones who are still in those partnerships, maybe you're still doubting, maybe you're still in that kind of state whereby you're thinking, are you dealing with the narc? Maybe you want to leave this individual because you're believing that something is wrong, you want to leave. Actually, I'm confirming to you in this video that you have got to prepare very well, because at the end of that partnership, whatever it is, relationship, entanglement, relationship, or whatever, the narcissist, the thing they do, they think what they are very much known to do at the end of those kind of partnerships, they are going to bring up things against you. In the beginning of that partnership, especially during the love bomb, the narcissist is going to bring a situation. They can create a situation whereby they might involve you in a fraudulent case, they might involve you in a robbery, they might involve you in it can even get sexual. The narcissist can involve you in some kind of an act with somebody else. They can even set up their own sister to try and sleep with you. In the beginning, remember this, all this is happening in the beginning. They can even set up their own brother to try to come and sleep with you. Now, the individuals you're dealing with are the most toxic and evil people you can ever imagine. Now, remember that you are still meeting somebody who you're trying to know. But during the love bombing phase, what happens is that the mask is every now and then sleeping. The narcissist cannot hold that mask for a long period of time. So during the love bombing phase, the mask every now and then is starting to sleep. The mask will sleep every now and then. You may not see it. Some of the time you will see them do something you've never seen before, or even say something you never heard. And you're going to ask the question. Actually, that is the intuition speaking to you that these individuals, there's something wrong with them, and actually the mask is starting to sleep. Why am I talking about this situation in the beginning is, when they realize that actually it is very likely that mask could sleep, the narcissist is going to create the trauma bond. Now, the narcissist creates the trauma bond usually I'll give you an example that I've seen myself, but other people have got their own versions of the trauma bond. When the mask starts to sleep, you start to doubt that relationship. You start to doubt that entanglement. You start to doubt that friendship. So what happens is that you're now starting to try even sometime to leave. Most of the individuals who have had narcissists in their lives, there has been a moment in the beginning whereby they have tried to leave that partnership because they have seen something very irregular and something actually very questionable about these individuals. So they could have tried they will try to send in somebody when they realize that actually you kind of detached from them. It's like you're not giving in fully, you're kind of trying to detach or something. They will create a situation, they will try to send somebody. They could send their sister, they could send their brother, they could send their auntie or whatever uncle. That person will try to come and sleep with you. They will send that person, the narcissist will do this project. This is a narcissist project. They will try to send that person to come and sleep with you. Or even if they don't try to sleep with you, they will come and try to pretend that they're trying to get into a relationship with you. Remember, you're trying to leave the narcissist because you've seen the mask is trying to sleep. That time you don't know you're dealing with one. Now the mask is starting to sleep. You're starting to question that relationship or entanglement or partnership. You're starting to withdraw, and even sometimes you're thinking about leaving those individuals because you feel there is something wrong with those individuals. So what they do, because they don't want you to slip out of their hand completely, they are going to trauma bond you. Like I've said, they may want the trauma bonds I've seen myself, and even some of the individuals I've spoken with. They will send somebody to try and sleep with you. They will send somebody trying to get into a relationship with you. They will send somebody, even sometimes they can send somebody to get you involved in a fraudulent case. That can be a case with the banks, a case with a car dealership, a case with a friend, a case with a rich fella, a person. They will try to get you involved in a case that actually that case If not even very careful, that case could end up into a legal situation. So what are they doing in this? They are preparing you because they know there is going to be a time when that partnership is going to collapse. Each and every partnership, guys, I want you to listen very carefully. Each and every partnership the narcissist gets involved in, that partnership, relationship, friendship, it has got to collapse whether they want it or not. And most of the narcissists, the greater ones and the mid-range and the greater ones, most of them, they know that because they have seen this pattern go on and on and on in their lives. So what they do, they are sending somebody to get into a fraudulent case, a relationship, a sexual act or whatever. They are trying to get somebody to come into your life. You will not know where these people are coming from. All of a sudden you're standing somewhere and the girl is going to come to you, or a man is going to come to you and try to hit on you. Each and everything that is going on in that event, actually, the narcissist is somewhere on the side watching each and everything. Even sometimes they are listening in. They are going to set you up. Sometimes they are going to put GPS trackers on your cars so that you can now, and then they will set you up to drive to a certain destination. You are going to drive to a certain destination. They may even create a situation. They may make you believe that you are wanted somewhere, or there's somewhere you need to go. They are going to put a tracker under your car. You're going to drive off to a certain situation, a certain location. Now, on you coming back, you are going to have questions to answer. The narcissist now is going to ask you, where exactly have you been? They are going to ask you where you have been, number one, and what have you even been doing? Or even sometimes if they have set you up with somebody, a person of an opposite sex, or even sometimes they have set you up somebody who is proposing a case of a fraudulent case, or even sometimes a money laundering case, or something of the sort. There has got to be something dirty. I've just given you the few examples. Or even sometimes the narcissist can set you up with a drug, some case that involves drugs. Maybe you're moving drugs from one point to another, or from one district to another. They can involve in that kind of deal in the beginning of that partnership. They're going to involve you in that because they are setting you up for failure. They are setting you up for destruction. They are going to use that exact situation, what is in that moment. They are going to use that situation at the end of that partnership. They are going to use it against you. In most of the cases, people who have faced, most of the individuals who have faced these cards, you've had a narcissist mention something that you might have happened to have done 10 years ago. The two of you had an issue, you talked about it, you came into an agreement, you let it go. At the discard process, the narcissist is bringing something that you've done 20 years ago, 10 years ago, even 15 years ago. Do you remember at such and such a time, 15 years ago, you did this? You tried to hit on my friend. You went to the bank and tried to steal money. You went to this individual and tried to steal money. Actually, you moved drugs from point A to B. There were drugs in your bag. You were caught with drugs from point A to B. But it's actually the narcissist who has even put those drugs in your bag. Most of the times they do this in the beginning because they are actually setting you up at the end of that partnership. When that partnership is ending, they are going to try to use those incidents to hang on to you and to make you confused even sometime, because they don't want to let you go. So you are going to actually be even afraid to leave them, because they are going to actually threaten you. They are going to threaten action against you should you even try to leave them. Should you try to let them go, they are going to threaten action, even sometimes legal action against you. But most of the time, guys, don't get it twisted. Most of these individuals, let me tell you, the narcissists, these are the biggest cows you can ever imagine. They are the people, yes, with a very big ego, but these individuals, let me tell you something, from the inside, they are nothing, they are empty. They can never do anything to you people. If you ever understand that the narcissist has just psychologically over time manipulated you to think that they are the ones, the mighty ones, the ones with the power, the ones, the stronger ones, the ones with the will, that is not true, people. Yes, they may threaten you, they may do all sorts of threats. They may say, 10 years ago you did this, 10 years ago you did that, 15 years ago you did this. But let me tell you something, if you know you're dealing with the narcissist people, they are simply threatening you, and they are trying to make you believe that actually you cannot leave them, because if you leave them, they are going to use those incidents against you. But in most of the cases, that is not true. So it is up to you, depending on what exactly that situation was that may have happened many years ago, that they're trying to use against you. You can see if it's a legal situation, talk to an advocate. They could try to use it against you on a legal basis. But if you see it involves, that situation may have been a legal issue, maybe you got away with something that was a legal issue, maybe you ran off with drugs and sold the drugs off somewhere. Maybe you had some illegal items in your car. Maybe you were trying to transport cigarettes or illegal cigarettes to a certain district or whatever. Maybe sometimes transporting prostitutes to a certain district. Each and everything that was involved legal cases, you might want to start to speak with the legal. If you're involved in that with the narcissist and you're trying to separate with them, and they're threatening to use those actions against you, it's up to you in your power to now start to talk with the lawyers. Talk to the lawyers, talk to the people who know the law, people who are going to use to have to interpret the law should it come to that. But most of the cases, the narcissist is actually just threatening you, and they can never take any legal action against you. They can never do anything to you. But if you feel that there's a threat, that they're happening to try to use something against you that you might have done 10 years ago and got away with it, and they're the only ones who know that, and they're trying to use that against you, you might want to try to speak with the lawyer, because should it come to that, they're threatening legal action against you, you can always involve the lawyer and you can involve your advocate and take it from there. But I just wanted to make it in this video very clear that be very confident. It is going to happen in 1, 2, 3 cases. Most of the individuals who have been involved with the narcissist, it is going to very much happen like that. At the end of that partnership, the narcissist is going to bring out something you have done 10 years ago. They're going to bring out something you have done 20 years ago. It is only the narcissist, or even sometimes they are flying monkeys, who know about that event, that situation. The reason why they are bringing it up is because they are threatening you. Should you try to leave them, maybe that time you're going through a discard, or even sometimes they are trying to discard you or something like that. They are bringing it up because they don't want you to leave them. Even if you leave them, they want you to keep on hanging somewhere until they do what they are doing, and then come back and pick you up very easily, because they are doing something like that, and they are using it against you to keep you trapped and sit somewhere and wait for them. That usually happens at the end of the narcissistic relationship. It usually happens that they use the individuals, their victims. They use those things and events that have happened very many years ago when they were meeting them in the beginning. So usually those things have happened. Usually those things have happened during the love bomb, the early stages of that relationship. It is very possible, even sometimes even during the relationship. You cannot be fooled. Well, I was not very much involved in things that involved crime during my narcissistic partnership, but I know a lot of people who have been involved with narcissists, and for as long as they remember, they have been transporting drugs from A to B, from place A to B. They have been transporting prostitutes from point A to B. They have been transporting illegal drugs, illegal cigarettes, illegal activities. There has been something illegal happening in that partnership. In most of the cases, it is very likely the narcissist is going to use that against you should that relationship end with them. They are going to use that against you. So just to get you prepared, for the ones who are planning to get discarded, or even you're the one going to discard them, I want you to find the legal means to protect yourself. Should you require legal means, you might have to use legal means to protect yourself, because the narcissist is going to try to use that against you. You are threatening to leave them, and then they are threatening to report you because on such and such a date, 10 years ago, you transported illegal drugs from point A to B. Most of the cases, guys, don't get too twisted. As long as they don't have the evidence with that, there's nothing they can do to you. And even then, if you feel that they are threatening legal action against you, you have got to make sure that you find the legal means, talk to an advocate, talk to a lawyer. Let this issue be known to your advocates and to the legal system, so that you can know the legal way of how you're going to handle this. But in most of the cases, it's just a threat. It's not that they're going to take the legal action against you, but they are just threatening you because they are telling you that if you leave them, they are going to bring up a case against you. So it is a trap. It is a simple trap that the narcissist set up during your encounter with them, and they're preparing that trap or whatever it is to use it at the end of your relationship. A narcissist can even try to set you up in bed with somebody else. They can do a setup. They can drug you. They can get you drugged or whatever, and you end up in bed with somebody else. They can do that setup. At the end of that partnership, that's when they're going to tell you that, do you remember, sir, 10 years ago, I caught you in bed with my sister. I caught you in bed with my auntie. You can be drugged and brought to bed, end up sleeping with somebody else. They might even make pictures, they might make videos, they may do everything to set you up. Because they are doing this at the end of the relationship, they are preparing what are they going to use against you. So when they bring in a new supply at the end of the relationship, they meet somebody new, a new supply, like we've always mentioned it in these videos. That's when they're going to tell you, you know what? 10 years ago, I caught you with somebody. I caught you in bed with somebody else. I caught you in the hotel with somebody else. Those setups, the narcissist has done those setups strategically because they are going to use it against you at the end of the relationship. Guys, if you've been set up in this scenario, if I'm talking to you, if you're the one in this kind of situation, let me know in the comment section below if it has happened to you, especially those of you that have left narcissists along the way. Other than that, guys, I can't make it longer than this. I love you all, and I hope to get back to you in my next video. Much love and blessings. A happy weekend to you all, and Desmond signing out.